Right, I just want to give my opinion on the flight mh370. I think it was actually a Philadelphia experiment, and I'm going to show you why. If you don't know what the Philadelphia experiment was, just Google it. It was a military experiment. I can't remember when, back in the 50s, 60s, where they made a warship disappear, and then it came back, and the people aboard were actually totally effed up in the head afterwards. I've got the book about it. But anyway, that's what I think this was. There's no other explanation. And I'll tell you why I 100% think this now, because I was watching this program, and watch this.
What we know to be true, actual facts, it was a pretty normal flight, and it was on its way to Beijing from Kuala Lumpur. But it disappeared from air traffic control radar 2 minutes after the captain said goodnight.
At that point, this invisible aircraft turned fairly sharply left.
See, you might have just dropped a boo-boo there by saying invisible aircraft.
But this turn was not insignificant. This turn back was through very nearly 180 degrees.
Military radar shows.
Right, and the way it almost like turned back on itself is probably because it was being remote controlled by the Terry, I'll call them.
It turning back, flying across northern Malaysia, turning right up the Straits of Malacca into the Andaman Sea, and disappeared from military radar, but subsequently.
Right, and note how it disappears from military radar. So it's been in civilian airspace on the top and bottom right. That's civilian airspace. And once it's on the left, once it's turned its back on itself and gone up on that left angle there, that's now in military airspace. Sorry, I should have said Terry. That's in Terry airspace, and it vanishes. So I believe that's a Philadelphia experiment, and they actually succeeded. So unlike with the ship, which they vanished and brought back, this time they've actually succeeded. Now, where is the plane now, though? Is it in a Terry hangar? But what's happened to the people? Were they even on board? Were they dead whilst they were on board? Or have they had to kill them afterwards? Or are they all completely, doolally from the experiment, like the one with the ship? And they're now living elsewhere under different names and don't even remember what happened. That's possible. So that's what I believe happened.
And evidence just does confirm that the aircraft turned south.
We didn't know what the purpose of the turn back was.
So hang on, let's just
Turn south.
Probable flight paths, the red bit.
We didn't know what the purpose of the turn back was. Was it a hijack, or was it a suicide mission by the pilot? It could have been an accident. It could have been something that went wrong on board. We just don't know.
We've had cases where people thought it was an intentional suicide, when in reality the person was incapacitated or impaired, and it was a physical.
No, I don't believe any of those theories. And if it had been an accident or whatever, you'd have found a lot more of that aircraft than they say they found. Plus, I do believe from watching aircraft accident programs that the people would have still possibly been strapped in their seats. if they'd have known it was going to crash, they'd have been told to strap their belts on, and they would have been found floating in the sea in their seats.
Ailment that was behind the behavior of the particular operator of the aircraft, in this case, maybe a pilot.
The mere fact that he turned back.
I mean, no plane flies like that. So it was either remote controlled somehow, or that pilot was given orders to turn around and fly like that. And then once he got into Terry airspace, that's when they vanished it. But where it went from there, I don't know. Could be in a hangar, could have gone to a hangar, and it's now got new numbers on the tail and is being reused. I don't know. But some people think that the passengers on board were already dead in their seats, and rumour has it a lot of them were scientists. I can't remember exactly what the theory was, but I'm 100% sure that that's what it was.
Right along the boundary and then turned right heading up the Straits of Malacca in Andaman Sea meant it was a controlled, planned flight.
Controlled, you see? That isn't what he's saying, but is that a Freudian slip?
My theory explains it. It's the only explanation for illogical action by a pilot who had no apparent reason to do the things he did.
Nah, see, that theory's silly, what she said. Anyway, that's my theory. I'm sticking to it.